Have you ever made a recipe with plantains? Or what about artichokes or even oyster mushrooms? No worries if you've never cooked anything with these uncommon plants, because today we're going to go outside of your comfort zone and make new recipes that you possibly have never made before. Let's go for it while using these plants. Let's first make a healthier version of fried plantains using the air fryer. When you buy plantains, you can buy them green, and when they're green, you can use them in recipes more like you would potatoes. They're more of a starch. But when they're more yellow, they're a lot sweeter, and that's what you want them to look like when you're making fried plantains. Now you want them again to be yellow or even slightly black on the edges. So we'll first start by cutting off the ends, and then we'll take the peel off the peel. It should come off easily. Again, the more yellow, the easier these will be to peel. And then we'll slice it. You want to slice at a little angle, a beautiful angle for those typical fried plantain look. The thinner you slice them, the more they'll end up being like chips. So you can make fried chips, plantain chips. We'll air fry these, and I'm not going to add oil, which is controversial. A lot of people will spray oil on top. I'm not going to do that, but you definitely are welcome to use an avocado oil to spray on top. Now you can season these in so many different ways. You can do salty, you can do sweet. I prefer sweet. So this is a mix of cinnamon and sugar that I'm just adding on top. My kids will love them if they have the cinnamon and sugar. You'll see it's super common for people just to put salt. Not me. Give me the cinnamon and the sugar. And we will air fry these at 400 for about 10 minutes. It smells like cinnamon rolls in my house right now. So good, that cinnamon sugar. And they're done. Oh, yum. Look at that. So yummy. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, time for the taste test. It's good. The cinnamon sugar, it's where it's at. My kids will love these.
So yummy.
So yummy? Yeah. You're taking the whole plate? You like them? I still remember the very first time I had a steamed artichoke. I was probably 8 years old, and I remember our whole family had one, and we dipped each leaf in butter, and I thought it was the most delicious thing of all time. But you know what? After I've made more artichokes, especially after going plant-based, I found what's even more delicious than dipping artichokes in butter is dipping it in oil, vinegar, and a little bit of salt. So let's go ahead and make artichokes the plant-based way. We first want to prep the artichokes by kind of cutting up the top. And then you want to just snip off some of the edges. This is not necessary. It just makes it a little bit more pleasant so nothing sharp injures your children. Next, you'll want to cut off the stem and then just maybe a couple of the leaves. Not too many though. We'll repeat the process with these two. And we're ready to put them in the Instant Pot. My little metal thing for steaming. Then we'll put in the artichoke and then 1 cup of water. We'll close the lid. Pressure cook on high for 10 minutes, and then we'll start. While that's cooking, let's make the dip. It is equal parts olive oil and vinegar, and then you'll add salt to taste. Now, of course, you can take out the olive oil if you are completely oil-free. We'll take 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of vinegar. We'll mix that around. My cute little helper. Okay, I let this naturally release, and now it's ready. Look at those beauties. Woo! All right, let's pull them out. So you'll go ahead and take off the leaf, and you'll see all of that yummy meat of the artichoke. And you'll dip it in your vinegar oil concoction, and then drag it across the bottom teeth. Now, I love vinegar and oil. You could also do balsamic vinegar and oil. You could do just oil with salt and some pepper. You can make this your own and choose to just kind of have fun with the dip. But I love the tang of a little bit of vinegar. Did you know that oyster mushrooms can become a great chicken nugget? Its meaty texture and ability to absorb flavors make it perfect for a vegan chicken nugget. You'll want to gently clean the oyster mushrooms with just a damp paper towel or cloth. We don't want to soak it in water because we don't want it to absorb the moisture of the water. Then we'll start to separate it into pieces. You just don't want to use that hard, crunchy end. Other than that, you can use everything else. Now, in place of eggs, we're going to use chickpea flour. So just take some dried chickpeas, place them in your blender, especially if you have a high-speed blender, turn it into flour, and we'll mix that with some plant milk, and that will take the place instead of eggs to keep everything sticking together. So now we'll mix a half a cup of that chickpea flour in a bowl, and we'll add 3/4 a cup of unsweetened plant milk. And then we will add about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. We'll mix all of that together. Should be a thick liquid, kind of like eggs. Next, you'll add 1 cup of breadcrumbs or oats that are ground up into flour, or panko. I am using Italian style breadcrumbs. We'll flavor it a little bit more with 3 tablespoons nutritional yeast. This is optional. Again, it's kind of like a cheesy flavor. You could also use like a mushroom powder if you want that umami flavor instead of nutritional yeast. Next, we'll add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of paprika. Then half of a teaspoon of cumin. Now let's put it all together. We will dip the oyster mushrooms into the liquid, then the breadcrumbs. And again, you can always use oat flour. You can use whatever you want instead of breadcrumbs. And we'll put it on our tray because we will air fryer these. You can bake them if you don't have an air fryer. It's super flexible, but it's just nice if you can use an air fryer because then you don't need to use oil. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, if you are using these breadcrumbs, do not add extra salt. They have enough salt in them. Also, technically, these are not vegan, so find some vegan options for Italian seasoning if you can. Now you can choose to spray these with a little bit of avocado oil or not, and just put them straight into the air fryer. We're gonna start at 400 for 10 minutes and check on them after that. These were actually done about 8 minutes instead of 10, so they cooked a lot faster than I thought.
What is this made of?
It's mushrooms.
I hate mushrooms.
These not only look like chicken nuggets, but they taste like them too. Ezra, is that meat inside? Yeah. They're actually mushrooms? What? They taste just like meat, huh? If you've never had an artichoke before, then there's something that I want to show you. At the very center, you'll be able to get to basically the heart of the artichoke. This is fuzzy, and you do not want to eat it. However, underneath the fuzz, you can kind of take a spoon and scoop out all that fuzz. Underneath is the artichoke heart, and that's where a lot of the meat is, and it's really delicious. You can dip this in vinegar or oil or a mix of both. If you're not eating with oil, again, just vinegar and salt is also delicious. I love the tang. I hope you enjoyed going outside of your comfort zone today and trying new plants you may have never cooked before. If you like this video, make sure to check out any of my other videos where I show you how easy and fun and delicious it can be to eat whole plant foods. I will see you next week.
Like and subscribe.